Yeah, thanks for having me on. Look, I think in the first quarter, we had really strong business dynamics across the entire portfolio at Novartis. First, in our innovative medicines business, our key growth drivers are medicines in cancer and cardiovascular disease and multiple sclerosis, all performed very strongly. That gives us confidence over the course of the remainder of the year to continue to see strong sales growth. Our Sandos business also delivered strong sales growth in the quarter. And that combined with our recent transformation program, which really streamlined the company, is allowing us to drive really good operating leverage and that core operating income that you saw in the quarter. And in constant currencies, our core operating income was up 15% for the business overall, 18% in innovative medicines. So that gives us the I think, confidence to upgrade the guidance for the full year.
Vas, I'm going to go back to basics here, and just from your communications with shareholders and the financial community as well, what do you think the biggest driver of your share price is? Is it the current portfolio or actually the hopes for that pipeline that you address there? And I'll leave Sandos for Karen to chat about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a couple of things. One is in the current portfolio, how are the launches performing? Because always in a company like ours, we live and die by our ability to launch new medicines to replace the medicines that are later in our life cycle. So in our case, these are medicines like Pluvicto, our prostate cancer medicine that is performing extremely well. Medicines like Kisqali and Kesimpta that also had very, very strong performance. And emerging medicines like Scemblix and Leqvio. The second big driver is the pipeline. And do we have that pipeline to give investors confidence in the replacement power, our ability to continue to replace our sales in an industry like the pharmaceutical industry, where you always have the challenge of products losing their patent protection. And then last is margin. And you've seen us grow our margin every single quarter now for many quarters. Margin was up again 3% in innovative medicines. So I think that margin expansion also gives confidence. You'll get the operating leverage as well on the business.
And just an update on my own knowledge on this, Vas. Is it all about blockbusters again now? There was a time in the earlier part of this century when it became about bespoke treatments, and that was going to be the exciting new way forward. Are we back to blockbusters?
Look, I think when you're a business as big as Novartis, you need big medicines. And I think you need medicines with multi-billion dollars of sales. Now, of course, you can complement that with smaller medicines. But for our company to continue to grow, we need to generate those very, very large medicines. When you look at the quarter, Kesimpta, Kisqali, Pluvicto, Entresto, Cosentyx, all on their way or are already multi-billion dollar medicines. And that's what you need to be successful in this industry.
Vas, looking through from innovative medicines to Sandoz, I can see that there are some negative numbers here on the impact of pricing. Are we hearing then effectively through these numbers that pricing is tapped out, that there is a problem when it comes to spending on some of these drugs now?
Look, when you look at Sandos in the first quarter, we had 8% sales growth, which shows that the business is getting back to revenue growth with the portfolio in Europe as well as the biosimilars portfolio. Now, I think from a bottom line standpoint, there's two big dynamics hitting Sandos. One is the inflationary pressures and Sandoz' ability to raise price ahead of inflation, which has been a challenge over the course of the recent quarters. We hope to see that moderate over the course of 2023. And the second is the stand-up costs of creating Sandoz into a standalone entity, which we hope to be able to propose to spin off in the second half of the year, pending all of the relevant approvals. That, of course, requires significant investment to build out all of the functions required for a standalone company. Those are the two drags on Sandoz earnings growth. That said, I think with that positive sales dynamic, we can get to a place where the margins start to increase over the course of this year and next year, and we'll be in a solid trajectory for the years to come.
As we were debating earlier with someone about the type of market we've got for IPOs at the moment and just how constructive it is, what are you hoping for the second half in terms of the market environment if you bring this one to market?
Very hard to predict, as you know, but I think when it's the right thing to do for the company, we're going to default to trying to make this happen because I think it's the right thing to create a global leading, what would become the leading and largest generics business in the world. And Novartis would be one of the leading innovative medicines, probably the largest pure play innovative medicines company in the world. So when you can create those two leading businesses, unless there's really a challenge in the market environment, our push has to really be to make that happen and really be strategic, think long term, and know this is the right thing to do for our shareholders over time.